Welcome to the podcast, Real Estate Matters. I'm Amit, your host, bringing you a wealth of expertise as a realtor, real estate investor, and coach. In this podcast series, we are embarking on an enlightening journey through the complex world of real estate. Each episode is carefully put together to equip you with the knowledge and insights necessary to make confident decisions in real estate. So, whether you're a first time home buyer, an experienced investor, or just intrigued by the dynamics of real estate, join me and my special guest in each episode as we explore crucial topics, share valuable tips, and embark on a journey towards financial gains in real estate. So let's start to navigate the exciting world of real estate together.
All right. So welcome to this very special episode. This is Real Estate Matters podcast. So I welcome you to this special podcast. We are actually live right now on Facebook, and this podcast is going to be featured on many different platforms. So make sure that you join us on this particular podcast. It's about real estate. It's a valuable tool that I'm introducing in order to help you. So let me start by introducing myself here. My name is Amit, and Amit Ambegaonkar. I am a realtor. I am also a real estate investor myself and a coach. And this particular podcast, I essentially started because I wanted to share value. I wanted to share insights about what I've learned in the past, 10 to 15 years, understanding real estate, learning about real estate, and being in different areas of real estate. And with my realtor position right now, I have access and special sort of information that I can share with clients so that they can make the right decisions in real estate. So this is what the intention of this podcast is. So I'm very happy and glad that you've decided to join today. Today, I'm also joined by a very special guest who's going to bring in some incredible value to this podcast. So make sure that you tune in and you continue to join me for this entire session. This podcast is geared towards helping you to gain some insights, which will be not only valuable for you if you're a first-time home buyer or an investor, but also extremely valuable if you decide to be an investor, if you decide to start putting in your time and dedication in learning and eventually doing it yourself or with investors in order to make real estate as one of the vehicle that you can choose in order to make the financial gains that you want in your life. All right. So let's get started. So today I'm going to start about real estate matters. This is a topic that we will cover today. The main reason why I'm covering this topic today is because there are a lot of people who are in the industry right now and they are wanting to buy their homes. Okay. And the reason why buying a home has become so much challenging because there are so many variables that exist right now. A lot of people are confused in order to where to start. There is a lot of uncertainty in the market because of the interest rate variable that keeps going up actually more than down right now. So people have lots of questions. People have this idea that they want the knowledge, they want the information. At the same time, they're not ready to make that decision whether they should go ahead and actually buy a property or wait or even sell a property or they should wait. So there is lots of information to be shared. There is a lot of knowledge to be gained so that you are, though you might be making some moves, you want to make sure that the moves that you're making are moving you in the right direction. So the purpose of this podcast again is to give you those insights, some ideas that you can work with in order to make your decisions more firm, more certain, and make yourself at ease that whatever you're doing, whatever decisions you're taking are actually working in your favor and they are the right decisions. Okay. So let me start today by giving you some insights, giving you some valuable nuggets which will help you in this whole buying process. Okay. So if you are live right now with me, make sure that you put your comments in the chat. And if you are listening to this podcast, you can reach out to me through my email, amit@amitrealestateteam.com, or you can call me or WhatsApp me on my phone, 416-627-4007. Okay. So thank you for tuning in. First of all, I want to again welcome you to this very special podcast, and we are getting started. Okay. So what is it that we want to talk about first? I want to start off with some insights. Now, these insights come to me from my experience of dealing with clients. Some of the examples that I'll be giving you are some of the recent examples that happened. So they're very current examples. This is what's happening in the market right now. Okay. So this is the information. I am just going to get started with that. Just having a quick. Yes. Okay, good. Just give me one quick second. All right, so we're back. So basically, what we're looking for is some of the situations that people were in where they needed that guidance, they needed that knowledge to be shared, and when that information was provided, they could make a move, a calculated move, something that they were afraid of doing before, and then when they get that piece of knowledge, when they get that information, then they were able to make that decision to move forward. So we have a very special guest today. As you know, it's the first episode of this podcast, Real Estate Matters, and I have a very special guest today who's going to be joining us. So please help me welcome my guest for today, Mr. Sanjay Karkare. Hello, Sanjay.
Hi, how are you, Amit?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Good. So Sanjay has an amazing background. He is, of course, a mortgage expert. And when I started to speak to him about real estate, I could feel the passion that he has about real estate. I could feel the amount of knowledge that this person has, and that's why I invited you, Sanjay, to be on this podcast. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for this great introduction, Amit.
Thank you.
So,
So thank you so much. So I know that you are the founder of Sanjay Karkare Mortgages, and you're currently working with Affinity Mortgage Solutions, which is the 10th largest franchise of Dominion lending centers in Canada. And in the past 10 years, I know you've helped thousands of clients with, I think, more than 500 million plus
in
in
fund
premiums
area.
now. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And your team also is the number one, you're the number one team leader in your brokerage, and you have about 35 agents now. Is that correct?
Yeah. For past 3 years, I am number one team leader in the Affinity Mortgage Solutions.
That's
And now
awesome.
we are expanding our team also. I have almost 32 plus now. And it's day by day
Amazing.
expanding. So I'm adding
You're
up more and more team members.
That's incredible. And that's what it's all about, right? I mean, when you have a team, you're looking at expansion, you're not only just growing yourself, your business, you're helping your team to get there as well. So that's amazing. That's the kind of person that I was looking for my first episode. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right, good. So let's get right into it. Sanjay, we were talking about getting people to understand the importance of buying their home, and given the current market, given the uncertainty that exists right now, a lot of people have lots of questions on their mind. They go online and they try to research on their own, but there is like the value that they get by speaking to us as professionals, like what's happening in the field right now as we speak. I find a lot of incredible value in that, what we are able to provide to our clients. Uh, so,
100%. Yes.
so I want you to go ahead and if you can share from your perspective as a mortgage expert, what would you recommend? What are some of the insights or tips that you can share with the audience today?
Yeah, the first and foremost thing which I would always recommend everybody who is looking for buying a property or a real estate. Today, buying a real estate, is something like going for a war. There is a bidding war going on, there is
Yes.
a rate war going on. So basically, when you go to the war, you have to be equipped with your armories. And for any client who is looking for the mortgage, the first thing for buying in the buying process is securing your mortgage, or at least prepared for the getting the loan or the mortgage. So I
Right.
always tell my client, be prepared in advance. Whenever you're thinking even of buying a property or looking at meeting the real estate agent, before that, at least plan yourself. Like, see what are your expenses, budget everything in place, like how much you can really shell out for the mortgage payments, and how much your expenses after that. So basically, this is what I always would like to have a discussion with any of my clients. And then we go by a detailed presentation, in-depth presentation. There are three major components for the mortgages. One is, the first is credit, second is down payment, and third is income. If these three things are in line, then there is no problem for ever for the mortgage.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
one or other piece is always missing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
most of the time when I start with the credit, lot of time what happens, clients either, first we see the status of the client, like what kind of status they are having in Canada, either they are PR or citizen, or they are on a work permit, whatever is the situation. According to that, we plan for them, that we check their credit. Lot of time, this is a very big tip. Lot of people
Mhm.
convert their what it called, work permit to PR. When they
Mhm.
transfer from work permit to PR, the SIN number change.
Yeah.
And most of the time, there is a problem with the credit bureau when they transfer the SIN numbers or old credit to the new credit. Lot of time it merge with somebody else's credit.
Oh boy.
And clients are not knowing about this. When we do the mortgage application without looking into this, at last moment we found that there is a problem. And now here client has already went into the accepted offer, and they have 5 days to complete the mortgage conditions. Now that cannot be taken care, because the credit is merged with somebody else, and wrong calculations, credit bureaus are there. So the calculation is a problem, and most of the banks will say, sorry, repair that, and then after that you apply. So
Absolutely.
then we will be in a soup in that case. So
Yeah.
I always suggest the client beforehand, make sure everything is right in the credit bureau.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's such a vital point. I mean, you said some very important nuggets there, and you said it so quickly. Maybe some of the audience kind of, didn't get it. So I'm going to just recap three things that you mentioned, which are really the key. This is such a good thing for you to put out there. Those three things that you mentioned. First is, of course, the down payment. Then you talked about the income, and then your credit, right? Like these are the pillars of getting a mortgage. So
Yeah.
this is so well put out, and just the where do I start, like in terms of a mortgage? It's just people start to look at these three things that will lay out the foundation for them. So very nice, Sanjay. That's, I love it. And you know what,
Yeah.
from my perspective also as a realtor, when you mentioned bidding war, that's so true. Like, I'm working with a client recently in Milton. And the bidding wars, like one side we hear the story that, oh, the market is slow and slowly it's picking up. But when you go to the field, there are 8 or 9 offers on a property, and people are willing to pay X amount of dollars on properties that you would not think people are willing to pay. There were three situations, Sanjay, when I worked with this client to put in an offer, and we actually did not make it. The other offers were way higher than what my client was willing to pay, which was, I found was the right
Yeah.
price for the property as well. Because, in some of these bidding wars, people get too emotional, right? They get to go involved, and their ego comes in. Like, whatever happens, for some reason, they will put in a figure which is really not practical, right? And then they, eventually you have to deal with it.
And you have to see the valuation also, right? If you bid too high, and if tomorrow the valuation doesn't come, then there
Exactly.
will be a problem, right? How the down payment, more down payment has to come up through client, which is very difficult
Absolutely.
situation. In fact, when you're talking about the offering things, I have experienced recently when they were, that's why I always say that beforehand you should be ready. Client
Yes.
put an offer, everything was done. Offer got accepted. Now he has to make the payment. Now he went to bank and he was supposed to withdraw from RRSP. Now bank said we cannot give you RRSP within just one day. It will take 3-4 days for the process.
Wow.
And client has to pay the deposit on the next day.
Was it next
Now
day?
he doesn't have the deposit money in his hand, practical, because nobody has looked into it before, and because he was saying I have money.
Yeah.
Right. Now that money was sitting in RRSP, and you cannot withdraw the RRSP right away.
Right. Right.
Some of the banks give you right away, but most of the time it takes time, 3-4 days.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, he has to go for a line of credit, and from line of credit he paid the initial deposit. Now borrowed money cannot be utilized towards the down. That's the rule of the mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we had a lot of difficulties in treating that down payment and then bringing back the RRSP money, putting back into the line of credit. So this way, sometimes clear-cut deals goes into trouble.
So true. So true. Yeah. And these are the practical things, right? I mean, some people may think, oh, it's a straightforward deal. I'll just go ahead with it. But when things like this pop up, you're like, oh my God, I never thought about these things. And that's why when they are working with us, we can sort of guide them through the process. Even if these difficulties come, we are working with them with our knowledge and expertise to help them out. So that's really good.
In fact, why I'm very much strict about the down payment also when I'm talking to the client, because it's anti-money laundering thing. Then they feel that they have the money. Like if we deal, most of the time we deal with the Indian people. Like they have the backup back home, they have the funds sitting in their PF accounts or some other account. Now to transfer that fund from India to here is a very challenging thing, because Indian government allows only 750 lakhs at one shot. After that, they put 25% TDS on that. So now client might have a calculation that certain amount he's going to bring in, and that is getting deducted. Then they have to find a route how to bring this money. So these are the things which we make them understand beforehand. Yesterday only I had a client who has about almost 80% down payment sitting here in Canada, but rest of the 20% he was wanting to get it from India. But now when we were putting his application, which was basically for rent, we are showing as investment property. Now, a lot of bank for investment property doesn't accept the down payment as a gift. Few banks accept it, but a lot of banks. Now, if your mortgage is going through that particular bank, which is not accepting the down payment for gift, then how you are going to work on it? Correct. These are the challenges we focus, and that's why I always tell everybody in my realtor group or even directly to the client, please come, please have a meeting with me beforehand, understand everything, and then we go through all these three things: credit, income, and down payment, step by step. I'll show you some slide presentation, and that's how you will have the idea exactly.
Absolutely. That's great. And these eventually become success stories for us. These becomes learning things for clients. And this is what we put together and present, right? That's why we are able to help them from these different angles. And that's incredible. So even when I'm creating my offer, Sanjay, when I'm putting an offer for a client, I have very specific things that I make sure that I include in the offer. Because the whole idea is that I want to safeguard my client. I want to have the best interest of my client when I'm putting in an offer, right? And that's generally the frame of mind when we're looking for any type of property, right? It doesn't have to be just in bidding. Any type of property that really comes in handy. So that's good. That's good. I mean, sorry, go ahead.
In fact, you have said a very right point, because before submitting the offer, because few times it has happened with me, with the seasoned realtors. We submit the application, we do everything, and then when the appraiser went there is a problem in the property, and bank cannot finance that property. So everybody's efforts goes into the vain, unnecessary.
Absolutely. Because really the agreement of purchase and sale document is such a critical document. It's a legal contract. Right. I mean, it's such an important document. You cannot take it lightly. Everything that you're saying on that contract is legally binding.
Yeah.
So if you're agreeing to that and just signing that document without understanding, well, you're signing something without understanding or, going into a legal contract. So that's where, like especially my role, I see a lot of education in there, a lot of training, a lot of coaching comes in there as to what exactly are you signing? What are you agreeing to is what I'm explaining. So that's really, helpful to a lot of clients.
In
For
fact,
sure.
last time when I was talking to you when we were in our office, this is what is the common point between us. This
Yes,
consultative or educative selling. Basically,
exactly.
we believe in making client understand each and everything, and
Right.
then they take a right decision and an informed decision, and that's what is the common point between us. So a
Yes.
lot of time I see that there is a disconnect there, and then uh, like it's a very awkward situation for a mortgage person to say that realtor has done some mistake.
Right. No,
We
that's
can't say that
true.
to the client.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I've always found that educating people, there is no such thing as too much education, right? Like whatever information I can give, people I find are always receptive because it's a huge decision that they're taking.
Yeah.
So it's definitely great. So let's go to the next segment, which is Q&A. So Sanjay, have you had any questions that always pop up from your clients or something that I would like to ask you also in this segment is what we can talk about in this part. So
In fact, I would always like to ask any realtor, like, what basically should be considered by the client who is either a first time buyer or an investor buyer, but what he should be prepared with and what the question they should ask you guys, like, and what you can show them, this is how we should start.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yes, Sanjay, thank you. So, I'll tell you something honestly. When I went out recently to show a property to one of my clients, they just wanted to start, seeing property. And the first time I went in there, and this lady who was seeing the property with me, beautiful, very nice couple. And then this lady said, "Okay, Amit, we are here. What am I looking for?"
Yeah.
We are in the property. And that's such a nice, innocent question to ask. And then I realized that, what, like she's such new person to this, that she doesn't even understand what to look for. And that's where I went into this whole checklist. I have a special checklist, by the way, for people who are new to this. I have a 8 segment checklist that I've created. So people don't have those questions once they see the checklist, right? They will go through the questionnaire. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. While they're in the house, they can manage to look at the checklist and okay, I see this, I see this, I see this. So that's one of the things that I provide. And it's available free, like just DM me or write to me, and I'll share that checklist with you for free. So when you have such thing, then it really helps your process. The other thing that I always ask clients to start with is identify what you're exactly looking for. What are your haves and what are your musts? Like some things are, oh, that's nice to have, right?
In fact, that
It's
was my second question. What are the
yeah.
must one should look at in the property?
Yeah, so basically, some people would say, no, Amit, it would be nice to have a 4-bedroom house, for example. But you know what? I must have a 3-bedroom because of my family. My parents are coming from back home. I have one child. So 3 bedrooms is a must. But if we can sort of fit in that price, 4 bedrooms at a different location, that's my preference. Right. So the more you can define what you're looking for, then the easier it is for you to go out there and make that decision whether you want to buy this property or not.
Yeah.
So first is really understanding the process, and second thing is you own defining your must haves and something
So
that you would
something
like.
like location or the schools, or those are the things which are important, which they should look into.
Absolutely, right? So those would be must-haves. So if you have a child who's, in school, must-have becomes one of the school, right? The rating of the school is important. The proximity of the school is important. What are the programs available in that school is important. So that changes the whole idea of you, buying a home in a particular neighborhood because your must-have now has changed from, not just a city or a neighborhood, but that specific school zone, right? So these are the things, if you can start to redefine or sort of mentally have a clear analysis of, okay, this is what I need to have, then it makes your job much, much easier for you to make a selection.
In fact, when I bought my first property in 2015, I had a challenge. Like I was working with one of the realtor who was brand new. Like first time he was helping me. He was my friend.
I see.
So we saw almost 40, 50 houses, but somewhere other places we were not getting connected and we were not sure what to buy. In fact, I work with him because thinking that at least he will have the experience of first selling, right?
Yeah.
But some or other way we were not finding it proper, and we spent a lot of time. I used to stay in Scarborough, and then we were looking the property in Brampton, so much time wasted and all those things. So in that case, was it a good situation? We could have sat together and discussed properly what we were looking for, and then only we could have seen the properties.
Oh, 100%, 100%. If you knew what you were looking for and that, discussion happens, then I find the timeline that you take in order to make the decision is much shorter, right? Now, bear in mind, sometimes people don't know what they're looking for, right? They don't know if they want a condo or they want to buy a townhouse, or a semi might be good. So sometimes I have, taken some clients off to see some properties just for them to get an idea of, how does a condo feel like? Can they see themselves living in a condo? Can they see themselves living in a townhome? Or is condo better for them? So in those cases, yes, I could start with a broad search for them. But the sooner you get to your points about what you must have and what you like to have, the faster this process works for you. So that's what I find in my house hunting for my clients.
How is how you can help the client in this competitive environment to secure the offer, like to get accepted? What are the certain things which you do so that the client, get sure that, I mean, the negotiation skills basically.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, those are some of the top secrets. So I don't know if I can share them.
No, because it's very
But
difficult right now.
it is. It
I've
is.
seen, so the market is, everybody says market is slow, but
Yeah.
still I can see the good properties, good price properties don't remain more than one day in the market. So
Absolutely. And that is true. Like there are lots of strategies that I use in order to win in these situations. Like, even the situation that I was talking about, 10 minutes ago, we were able to secure this house for a client, even in a bidding situation. It was just incredible how we won this bidding war, and the client was so happy that they were actually able to secure that property. So some things definitely do, but some things I can tell you that I don't encourage the client to go overboard than what they can afford. Just because they fall in love with the house, overcommitting or overstretching their finances is never a good idea, right?
yeah,
And the second thing is going in without any conditions. I really don't like people doing that, especially if they are not confident, right? Like, don't just go in because you want to compete and you want to buy that house. So no problem, I'll just go in without any conditions just because I want that property. Not a smart thing to do, right?
yeah,
You want to have that safety net just in case if your mortgage, or like you said, Sanjay, if they have qualified, but maybe that house doesn't appraise at the price that the offer got accepted for, right? They're still in a problem. So yeah, these are some of the things. And of course, there are more things that I do on a one-on-one basis to win biddings for my clients. So yeah, lots of things. So Sanjay, I want to hear from you. Some things that you do. I mean, given the market right now, there is talks about the interest rates going down sometime this year. How should clients position themselves to make a decision? What do you
see,
think?
it's frankly speaking, we are in a very awkward or a certain point of the market right now where we are expecting the rate to go down, but when the rate will go down automatically, because there is a demand already. I have
Yes.
more than, I would say, 200 prospects already there who are looking for the properties, but they're not taking that decision because they are thinking that the interest rates are too high, or because of the interest is high, they are not getting qualified right
Mm.
or they're waiting to interest rates to go down. And if interest rates goes down, the price will go up. That is another
Exactly.
challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So
Yeah.
I would say that if some or other way, if you get qualified, then this is the right time to buy the property.
Okay.
Next 2 years are 2 months are very crucial. After that, we will be in the summer market, and summer market is already going to be very high. That's what we are expecting because everybody is holding back.
Mhm.
People who have to go for the changes, they will definitely do that. So the summer market will definitely go up somewhere after, if you're buying a property, maybe after June, July, then you are definitely going to pay a little bit higher price than this right now. Even
Mhm.
whether the interest rate goes down or not, it doesn't make any difference at that point. But
Awesome.
however, we had a discussion with our Dominion Lending Center's economist, Dr. Sherry Cooper, and according to her, this year probably we will see a 0.5% in the interest rate change, and another 6 months after that, we will see another 0.5%. So in all next 1 year time, you will see a almost 1% to 1.5% decrease in the variable rates. But then also the variable rate is very high right now. It's like
Mhm.
prime 7.2. Even if 1.5% it goes down, it will be what? Still it will be 5.5.
Yeah.
Sorry, 5.3. But at the same time, currently the 3 years fixed rate is hovering around 5%.
Mm.
So what to take a decision, whether to take 3%, 3 years fixed right now or wait for the variable to go down. So basically, if you are ready for the market, I would say sit with somebody, sit with a proper mortgage advisor, sit with me, and then we will decide what to do. Because even if the interest rate goes down in 1.5 years, next 1.5 years, you will be paying a little bit high, but you are secured already for the
True.
3 years. So
Awesome.
my advice is 3 years fixed, right away decision is the best thing if anybody is looking to buy the property.
Excellent. Very good. That's great advice and great tips. Great information shared, Sanjay. Again, I thank you for your time. So if people want to connect with you, what's the best way that they can connect? Anything you can share here, please?
They can call me directly on my cell number 647-746-7057. Or I have office. I'm available for my clients in the office from 12 to up to 8:30 in the evening on the weekdays, which is at 6685 Tompkins Road, Mississauga. And weekend also I am available because I know most of the clients are busy and they get time only on weekends. So I'm available 12 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday both days. So
Awesome.
practically I'm available for 7 days to my clients, and I have a set of a team for my back office. So it's not that I'm putting up the application, I'm doing the work, and along with that I have to take calls and I have to talk to the client. It's not like that. I'm 100% free for my clients.
Awesome. Awesome.
If
That's
if I
great.
have to do some applications, I have a staff of 3 people who are taking care of that. And that's how I do conduct my business. And that's why I can do so much volume. Otherwise, it's very difficult to do.
It is difficult. That's great. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you. I'm sure that,
Thank you.
given
And
the value
all
that
the
you.
best, everybody. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for being here. So thank you so much for joining today's Real Estate Matters podcast. This was episode 1. And as you know, I will continue to deliver this podcast to you, giving value, sharing lots of insights from not just from myself, but from experts in the real estate field like me, who will join me in this podcast and share valuable nuggets that you can take away and use it in your real estate ventures. So thank you so much. The way to connect with me is through my website, amitrealestateteam.com. If you want to reach me directly, it's 416-627-4007. And we will touch base again very soon. See you at the next podcast, Real Estate Matters. Thank you.